Now remember, everyone, don't put a safety pin in your nose unless there's already a hole beforehand. Otherwise, you will cause pain. Hello! I am here today to tell you guys about something very exciting that happened just very recently. Like, as in last night, recently. But before I go into detail about that, you need to know some background information, so let me just tell you a story. It was 2012. I had just recently got an iPad and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and I had not yet bought a case for it. I used to go to Autumn's house every Wednesday, and sometimes I would stay the night on weekends, and this so happened to be on a weekend. Sometimes we would go up into her attic and we would just sit up there and like just do stuff. It was kind of like, we were 11 and 12, so it was kind of like a club space for us. And that night we had planned to spend the night up there. Now let me just recount the events of the day leading up to that night. It was her little brother's birthday party, and I had gone over there with my iPad because I was going to spend the night. And so we were all standing around talking. I can't remember who I was talking to, but I wasn't talking to Autumn because she came running down her hallway and jumped on my back. For future reference, it is not a good idea to jump on the back of someone who's holding an iPad who is unprepared and doesn't have a case on said iPad, because as you can imagine, it went flying. Landed face down on her tile floor. A collection of gasps came from everyone in the room. I turn around and I pick it up, and sure enough, there's a couple cracks on it. They weren't too bad. Yet. I went on with the night. The iPad still worked. And this is where we get back to the night part. We're up in her attic. It's like midnight, I think it was. And she turns to me and goes, "Hey Erin, can you make us some ramen?" And at first I'm like, sure, I can make instant ramen. I am like the cups that you fill up with water and put in the microwave. I have done that so many times. I can do that. So I'm like, yeah, sure. Where's the ramen? And she goes, "It's in the closet in the little packets." So I go down there, I look in the closet, and there's those packet ramens that you have to cook on a stove. I don't know how to work a stove. And so I go back and I'm like, I can't do it, I'm sorry. And she's like, "You have to." So I go back up into the attic so she can tell me all the basics of how to work a stove. I don't understand any of it, so I'm like, hold on, let me go back down out of the attic and get my iPad and you can write down everything that I need to know. And so I go, and I reach my foot out of the attic to put it on the ladder to get down, and I kick the ladder. Boom! Bye, ladder! Our only way of getting in and out of the attic is now on the floor, and here I am left, dangling out of the attic. I had no choice. I let go. I did survive. I caused quite the racket, though. I was about this close to impaling myself on a plunger that was in her garage for whatever reason. And there was like a bunch of clattering from where I had kicked the ladder out of the way and stuff, and all I do is turn up to her and I go, "Shh, you're gonna wake up your mom." I didn't care that I almost got impaled on a plunger. I don't want to wake somebody's family up. And I'm not sorry about that. Anyway, I'm down there already, so I go get my iPad and bring it back while she's laughing in the attic. I set the ladder back up, I go back up in there, and she writes the instructions down on my iPad, and I take it back down, and I set it next to the stove, and I read it. A few days ago, I actually found the saved note in my iPad from that night, and this is what she wrote. I get the water, I put it in the bowl, I put the bowl on the stove, and I'm still really confused about the oven's buttons. I go back to ask a question really quick. I think it was about the buttons, I don't know. But I come back, and my iPad is gone. And I'm like, where'd it go? It didn't grow legs and run away, I think. Like, that's not a thing that happens. Where is my iPad? And then I look down, and there it is. It's still sitting upright, but because it landed on its corner, It's shattered. I took my iPad, went back up in the attic, and it ended up being Autumn coming down and making the ramen anyway, because I sure couldn't. I tell that story to everybody. If they're wondering about my cooking skills, all I say is that I can't cook. I once broke an iPad trying to make instant ramen. I can't cook. But the main thing of that story is the stove and the ramen part. That is the background information you needed to know. Last night, it was like 7:45 or something. Do you know what I did? On the stove, I cooked some instant ramen successfully. It's been 3 years. I honestly almost shed a tear. That was a moment. It was like when Louis Tomlinson cooked that chicken stuffed with mozzarella wrapped in Parma ham with a side of homemade mash for his boyfriend. That is what I felt like, and it was a great feeling. I could finally make something to eat other than cereal, Pop-Tarts, and sandwiches. I could live! That is it for this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that, because I am currently 24 subscribers away from 400. Leave a comment below telling me what you can cook. Are you a good cook? I'm not. And lastly, please share this video places if you wanna share my experience. I don't know. Have a nice day, have a nice night, have a nice life, and I will see you in my next video. Here's the joke. You ready for it? You ready for it? What are the strongest days of the week? Saturday and Sunday. The rest are weekdays.